Welcome to Fill the Void podcast, where we discuss unhealthy human habits caused by the society of consumption. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with one of my very close friends, Cloe Galasso, an incredible and talented artist from Argentina, but also living in New York City. Hi, Chloe. How are you?
Hi, Siri. Thank you so much for the introduction. Everything is great. What about you?
Thank you for being here. I want to start talking about how did your career start when you graduated and finished high school, and where did your life path start at that point?
Well, as soon as I finished high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So I signed up in graphic design, a career here in Argentina.
Like
I
me.
did the career. Yeah, like that. We're the same.
Yes.
I did the whole career here. Then I did like a master. And I always felt that it was not enough. I was like feeling something was missing, that I could not have the creation path that I wanted. I was always being a little bit constrained by the clients.
Yeah,
Well,
limited.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but then suddenly my life made a complete change because I went to Italy with a trip with my parents, and I got hired by an agency, modeling agency there.
Yeah.
So I stopped working as a graphic designer and I started working in the fashion industry. I worked there for 2 years, specifically in Milan. And then, well, it came to a point where I looked at myself and I was like, are you doing what you wanted to do? Are
Yeah.
you actually, is this your dream? Like, are you fighting for something that is what you want, or are you just being here?
Or
So after that,
following the system, like what everyone
yeah,
tells you to do, you just follow.
and it's something that you don't realize in the moment because you're so immersed in what's happening, that it's important to stop and be like, just say to yourself, like, who you want to be. Who
Exactly.
are you? Who do you,
Yeah.
how you want to be described, how you want to be seen, how you want to be, how do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? And then I realized that I was going completely in the opposite direction towards what I wanted to. And in 2000 and at the end of 2019, beginning in 2020, I quitted fashion, like modeling, and I started investigating about art and about how to become an artist, let's say. That it was
Yeah.
something all my life. And I felt that even though with graphic design you can, I did not have the tools with
Yeah.
me as a graphic designer to become an artist.
Yes.
A lot of extra talented graphic designers that are artists, such as you, and many others that I know. But I feel that I lacked something on that. I needed like hand expression. And throughout my career, all the time, I felt the same. It was like always trying to learn how to do things with my hands. My hands being involved, it's really,
Yeah.
really.
And how was your experience in the modeling? Because I know that it's a really hard environment to be in regarding like body image and all those things around nutrition, blah blah blah. What do they want? What they're expecting from the models? Like, how was your experience around that?
Well, frankly, it was so weird. It was something that I did never ended. I never understood it a lot. At the beginning here in Buenos Aires, I got some calls from some agencies to like do scouting, and they were always like finding like defects on my body, and the way they were saying it to me was like, "Oh, your measurements are perfect, but you have a defect here," as if I was a, I don't know, like a
Yeah, that's like
problem.
a constant mind fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Italy, well, in the middle, I trained so much. I became more conscious of health wise, let's say training, how it impacts your health. And my body became super toned. And I went to Milan and I was working there, and there it was like, oh no, you're too skinny. You're too skinny. Do you eat? Do you eat? You're in Italy. You have to eat the pasta, eat the pizza. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? I'm eating all the time. And I was not like in the moment, I was not. The thing is that that's what I was thinking back then. Now, when I look back at it, I, frankly, I was skipping almost all my lunches because I was going from a casting to another one, running around. And
Yeah.
I used to have like 6, 7 castings a day. So it was like,
That's crazy.
yeah, running around the city, because it's not in the same place. Maybe there's like 1 hour between one and the other, and you have to go like cross the whole city, take 3 trains. So sometimes I just grabbed like almonds and went on my way. I had a time to sit down to eat. So if I look back at it now, I can be honest to myself and to the people around me, being like, yeah, I was not eating enough at all. And I was super skinny. And that's what, even though there were people that were telling me, no, you're too skinny, I lost jobs because I was too skinny. But then the agency, if you put up weight, they would not give you the castings. So it creates all these
It's like an
dysmorphia.
unhealthy, yeah, like an unhealthy cycle of body dysmorphia and unhealthy eating habits, which you have to even like continue because you got to keep up with what they're expecting. And
Yeah.
there's completely
And
unrealistic expectations.
totally. And I understand that there's a lot of women and men that naturally have that body. And it's amazing.
Yes.
And I have friends that are like that and they don't and they train or they don't train. But they have that body and it's perfect. It's like
Yeah.
great. Do the
Yeah.
job. Go for it. I support it. But I also had a lot of people that nearly died. Do you
Yes.
meet up with expectations with this? Um I remember as soon as I did not know anything about the modeling industry before I got to Milan, and I was living in this model apartment with one model that was like 3 years younger than me. I was old already, so I could see everything from another.
Yeah.
Because the models that were with me, they were 16, 17. I was 21. So that's a difference. I did not just came out from my like
Yes.
comfort
Had
of
a
my
little
home.
bit more of experience. Yeah.
Exactly. So I knew what I was doing. And in the room next door, we had another two models. I remember that they were buying the fruit to eat, and they were like counting, like I have 7 strawberries, one for each day, and these and I remember looking at them like, wow, that's leverage, because it makes you feel like you should be doing something similar. You
Yeah.
see, right? You see them going, getting the castings, getting everything, and then you're like, wait, maybe if I do this, I'll
I
get
will
more.
get it. Yeah.
So it ends up being like a circle that you get stuck on it. And frankly, I do not know if any moment in my life, there's not any moment soon, probably, I'm
Yeah.
gonna with this dysmorphia that I had in my head. Even
No,
though that,
yeah. That's a thing you carry through all your life.
yeah,
It's
it's so
yeah.
hard to be like, okay, I'm not, no, how you even do that? I would love
Yeah.
to know.
And it takes up so much energy and space in our head and brains that energy should be used to other things, but we're constantly like ruminating on the brain with like body image just because we're constantly comparing ourselves with other unrealistic things.
But let's be honest, we were taught that. I mean,
Yeah.
not something I cannot talk about other countries because I was raised here in Argentina, and I still remember putting on the TV and seeing how they were roasting people because they were fat, they were
Exactly.
thin, they were this, they were that, they had no ass, they had too much ass, whatever. Like we were raised
Yeah, the
in this
society.
environment
Yeah.
that generates women and men with body dysmorphia, because we don't have to forget about men. Men also suffer about this.
Exactly.
They also have anorexia. They also have bulimia. And I think that in most of the cases, we don't even know that we're going through an
No.
Yeah, we don't
And
know.
there's a taboo
Right.
around. There's a taboo around all these things as well. Like people feel ashamed of even saying it out loud. Like there's a lot of like hiding and lying and
Here's something that I find really disgusting, that it's when you're trying to heal, let's say, and like
yes.
get a path of a healthier way, because you can still want to maintain a certain body image, right? But there's a lot of ways getting there. You
Yeah.
can do it with nutrition and training. You can do it with eating less. That's not exactly the recommended thing, or
Yeah.
eating the correct stuff. Because let's be honest, our diet is completely biased by the system and all these ultra processed foods that we're eating constantly
Exactly.
every day. Like, and it's so difficult to detach from that. But our bodies, if we detach from that, they start generating new tissues, stronger tissues, if you're eating as they eat before, as our bodies designed to, without all these
Exactly.
extra things that you find in every product in the
Yeah,
supermarket,
and
every product.
it even makes it more difficult when I even go to the supermarket. I'm like, oh, I would like eat a little sweets, a little bars. But then I'm like, no, why would I want to eat something that comes from a laboratory that's full of sugar? It's pure
Yeah, and it's so
cancer.
hidden.
And it's this fight instead of living freely and in peace, utilizing like using healthy products, we have to like contain ourselves and fight the temptations because
Yeah,
the system wants us to consume, tempt us with things, and we end up being
that's how it
like
works.
we destroy our bodies. Exactly, that's how it works. We destroy our bodies, and and then it's too late. But
They're
that's why it's so
literally
important to shine light on these problems.
totally. They're
Yeah,
literally creating this void in you, like telling you you'll be full when you have
exactly,
these, when you own these, when you buy these. There's For me, it's so interesting this subject because it's a theory of communication of how they are manipulating us.
exactly.
Um, and me, I was an agent of that. That's why, like, my thesis on university was about this: how a graphic designer or designer, it's the agent of change. Is the
Hmm.
one that has to make the change. Is the one that has to push both sides to come to an agreement and start. I mean, when a client comes and tries to do something that it's not okay, he the one.
Exactly.
No, the thing is that for we have the saying in Argentina: for the money, the monkey dances, right? Like
Exactly.
they're giving you the
Exactly.
money, whatever they tell you, because you need the money in this world that we live now. But
Yeah.
whatever, I feel that it's really, really that I wanted to say before.
Yes.
Really, um, something that I don't understand is that when you're starting your healing path, trying to be, trying to love yourself, love your body as it is,
Yeah.
even though you keep it one way or the other, working on it. And one of the steps, let's say, it's to accept that you have a problem and be able to talk it out with other people.
Exactly.
And I find it really weird when I have like people being like commenting about my weight, or that I put on weight, that I put down weight, or like, nah, but you don't have a problem. If you had a problem, you were not eating this pasta, or you were not. And it doesn't go through that. Sometimes you can go out and be like, he binge eating, and you eat a lot, and then the anorexia kicked in. You're just like depressed for the next
Exactly.
few days,
Exactly.
trying to go to the gym, trying to walk more, trying to do this and that to compensate what hadn't, like, what you intake before. Um, and that's what I feel, that it's really fucked up because people have no um right.
No empathy or compassion around these problems. That's why they make these
Yeah,
comments.
no right.
Yeah.
No right.
And all right.
No, yeah.
Each one is on their own path. And how would you describe like regarding my concept of filling the void and the void, like the existential void that we all have this void. Like every human has an empty feeling, a feeling of emptiness. That's the motor of us going and doing things to fill that void. But the question is like, are you feeling it in a healthy way or in an unhealthy way? Like, have you experienced this feeling of emptiness and trying to feel it in an unhealthy way, feeling lost, like before you discovered art, your way of expression? How can you describe this feeling?
I feel that it's something that accompanies you all your life.
Yeah,
Like, void, as you said, you have to use it as the motor that keeps you running towards a
yeah,
goal. That's what I found to be the most healthy way. But regarding the healthy ways, we both well know that
yes.
this season that we live in, like, you end up partying too much, you end
Hmm.
up doing it
Drinking,
on
socially, even like going to every event every day, feeling the void socially with
not
work.
being able to stay in your home. Like today, I woke up and I was like, damn, oh, I have so many plans tonight, but I should stay in with
Yeah,
myself
yeah,
and
exactly.
work, do my stuff, paint, whatever. But you girl need to be alone. Like, because you end up feeling the void constantly. And even though that you say, like, for example, You just told me you find your path and now you fill it up with your art and this and that. My art speaks about void. Let's say
Yes.
like one of the concepts of my art, it's also the void. So it is trying to understand how it works, what it is, and to look it in the eyes, not being
Exactly.
scared. Because when you get scared, when you're not feeling strong enough, it's when you fail into communicating to your body and to yourself that you are in a spot where you don't need those excesses in life. You
Yes.
don't need to do everything on excess. You can have a calm day, doing absolutely nothing but going to work and training and listening to some music. And
Yes,
it's
going in the
enough.
void, feeling the void, like feeling it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But well, it's hard. It's a path. It's not that easy. And sometimes it's easy to say it, but it's hard to do it.
Yes, very hard. And also coming back to this like existential void, how does your art with the bodies you draw connect with the void and this like abstract shape that you add in your art?
Well, these abstract shapes that everyone asks, because it's the repetition that you can see in all of my pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about I was working for this woman that she studied Feng Shui, and she went to China to study it. And she was always talking to me about the energies and how they enter to the word and a lot of stuff. At the beginning I was really accepted about it. I didn't believe it, but then suddenly things started to come into place,
Mm-hmm.
and she started telling me things that then started happening, and I started to be like, okay, what's going on here? So I started investigating more and more. And for me, the void was always that was one of my questions in my art, let's say.
Yes.
One of the motors that keep me like investigating. And the other one was the void. I had a teacher that was always talking about the void and this huge existential crisis that the
Mm-hmm.
human being has, because we have conscious, and why are we alive? Like, that's a question that we'll never get to understand like fully. And it has something that I was also looking in my art, like, where is this void? What is this void? Why is the human not being able to stand in front of it, look at it in the eyes, and not be scared of not having a reply of something?
Humans are we are always running from the void.
Exactly. Exactly, because it's scary. You don't have answers. We
Exactly.
create the word. We have answers towards, like, we have a little box that encapsulates us. That is the words. Where the words end, the knowledge ends, and the answers end. That's why we always, as a society, had gods or other unnatural, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
forces where we
Exactly.
relate these, it must be the gods, because we don't have an answer for that. So I try to combine both things in my art and be able to understand that this void, it's also, you can also feel it with this energy, that the energy that surrounds the universe, it's in constant movement. So there's energy. We cannot see it. Many people do not believe it, because in the Occidental part of the world, this stopped being studied when
Yeah.
all religious cults, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
emerged. But in reality, there's waves of energy entering the body, entering the earth constantly, changing it every day. That's why the Feng Shui talks about how to put the furniture, how to do these things, because supposedly we had two channels that make us get the energy. One is over,
Yes.
the other one is over here. So they say that you have to stand on your back towards the energy that you want to receive, because it's the one that you're going to be permeated with. And all of this knowledge we don't have. And for me, that fills the void. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's so
When you start
interesting.
understanding that everything works together, and if you work towards the energy is at your disposal. It's something that you can grab and use towards your goals, towards your happiness.
Exactly.
You understand that faith that brings into your life fills the void.
Yeah. The
That's
problem
why
now is that we are all like robots in a system that we are controlled, and it's very hard to sometimes awaken, stop the automatic mode and be able to think and connect with these like energies around us. It's hard.
it's super, super hard. Reality, I feel that sometimes we forget about all of these things. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because we are submerged in this constant movement that it's constant. It doesn't stop. And even more in cities as New York or Buenos Aires, let's say.
Yeah.
There are both cities that are metropolitan cities that everything is running and you have to be everywhere and you have to do everything. And if you are not doing that, you're not doing this. If you're not being this and that and this, you forget about,
Exactly.
you forget
Exactly.
that you're an individual and that in reality, you don't need anything of that. You could live in the middle of the mountain and you should be fine.
Yeah, and in and cosmopolitan cities like New York, Buenos Aires, it's like the faster you go, the more productive you are, the better you are. So being busy, it's the good thing. But nobody values rest, sleep,
Oh,
healing, right? But I know also
like,
that at the same pace that as the world is advancing technologically and like making everything like with machines and numbing, blah blah blah, at the same pace people are awakening. There's more like coaches, therapies, uh, psychedelic treatments, even to be able to awaken and heal all these traumas. At the same
frankly,
time that one thing is going up and evolving, also this path is evolving, like coming back to our basics.
if I have to be honest with you, I lost myself in
Yeah.
these last 2 years being in these constant movement from New York to Buenos Aires and having my life split in two. And I got lost, but I used to be really spiritual before,
Yes.
meditating every day and connecting with all of these energies that we were talking about and this awakening. And at the moment, I used to have all this group of people surrounding me that work with chakras and all of these
Mm-hmm.
treatments. And they were talking about it. They were talking about this awakening in society, in community that there
Yeah.
was. They were talking about these uh, huge meditations that they were doing at the same time worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
and that people started communicating with each other. That I started hearing that, like, one friend was talking to someone that was in Germany in the middle of the meditation, and she was in Argentina and he was in Germany, and it's crazy. I remember one person once told me I wanted to do it, and I fell asleep because it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I was not staying that late at that moment in my life.
Yes.
Right. And I fell asleep, and they told me that they saw me sleeping in the meditation. And I was in my bed. And I only had the thought that I wanted to do that meditation, but that's kind of starts proving that this is something worth investigating because our
Mm-hmm.
potential as human beings is not being exploited at all. We're just, we're stuck in the same model since forever.
Forever.
And
There's no other
no,
model. There's no
there's
other.
no other model. And that's the awakening that we're talking about, that there's a lot of people that it's realizing this, it's realizing how many times have you heard in the last month, manifestation, this and that. Everyone is manifesting everything now because
Exactly.
it's actually something that works. So when people start realizing that, they start getting more involved, getting more knowledge, and that it's taking them to awakening and seeing the void as not an empty space for darkness, but an empty space for growth.
Mm,
It's a different way of seeing it. It's the same thing, but you're
exactly.
how
This
to
is
see it.
very important what you're saying.
You
It's
want
an
to see
empty space for creating.
for growing. It doesn't have to be creation. I mean, I feel it's creation, and I always say that everyone is a creative and
Mhm.
everyone is a creator too, if they want to. But we're taught since we're kids that we're consumers, not creators. And
Exactly.
I remember, I don't know who was that said this. Maybe Britney Spears? I'm not sure. But when I was young, I heard that lyric that was like, I created and you're consuming it. Something like that. Like, look at it this, like, I'm the one creating it and you're the one watching on me. You're not doing anything. And
Mhm.
I swear to myself that I was not going to be a consumer for the rest of my life, that I was going to change that and I was going to be a creator. But I feel that everyone has the power. It's just,
Exactly.
you
Everyone.
have the power. You have to work for it. Things do not come easy. Like, oh no, you're taunted. You have a hand to paint. No, darling. I sat myself down and I painted for hours and hours and hours till I reached the point that I was satisfied with. It's not
But
something that
what would you say? What would you say to the people that you are like your own entrepreneur of your own project? Like you are the one working for yourself and like making the wheel move forward. Like, what would you recommend for other people doing the same? What keeps you motivated? Like, how do you, where do you find the strength and the motivation to keep on going?
I love this question because frankly, in this moment right now of my life, I'm asking that to myself because
Mm-hmm.
I used to wake up. I used to have this really well scheduled thing that
Yes.
work. And that's something that I'm gonna say right now that it's getting goals that keep you motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So actions. At the beginning of the year, I used to sit down and I wrote down all my goals. But I divided them even. Health goals, work like ethics goals,
Yes.
personal like I used to write everything that I hated about myself. Not in like I hate my hair. No, like I hate when I reply back to my mom. I should stop now. I cannot. My mom gave me birth. I have to be more patient with her. I cannot reply, like stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
being not mean, but having a really good judgmental way of seeing it. And that kept me motivated because then 2 or 3 months later, I just opened the book and I started ticking the things that I've done. And I remade a list. I used to do it every month in a moment where I was just alone. I was alone for a long, long time. I was like every month resetting the list. Last year, for example, I did it in the beginning of the year in January, and then in July, I had already accomplished everything. It felt so great that the only
Yes.
thing that I did was to make more. So I made another list and I started crossing everything down again. And this year, I made a list at the beginning of the year, and I haven't touched it yet. I haven't revised it. So if I have to be honest with you, this is my motivation. But there's moments in life where you fall behind,
Yes.
and that exactly the moment where your head will trick you to get in the void again and sink yourself. But you have to remember that you have to treat yourself with love and that we all make mistakes. We all get lost sometimes, and it's okay. You
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I had this thought when I was learning to meditate. One of my teachers told me, when your mind goes away, just go gently to your mind and grab it by the hand as if it was a little kid and show her back the way to silence. And that's how I feel in these situations. I'm okay. Yeah, I drifted away. I took some time off, of my obligations. I was like, okay, I need to relax. I was working so much, whatever. Now I'm not gonna castigate myself. I'm not gonna like
Punish yourself.
punish myself for it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna grab my hand and be like, okay, slowly, let's go back to the path. Let's let's pick up the pieces and keep on going.
And also, like, it's very important what you're saying because we always want more and we find ourselves in this position where, like, nothing is enough. We're never satisfied. So we also have to learn to, like, be happy with what we have. And even happy, it's like a crazy word for me. But, like, just in peace, with what we have now, not in
Yeah.
that constant search for more.
And that's something that it's really hard because frankly, I feel that living in a society as we live right now, in the cities we live right now, there's always more. And people are
Always.
expecting more. And frankly, I know that the the person that it's the most difficult to convince that I'm enough, it's myself. And I do not know when I'm gonna feel enough with myself, and I'm always pushing for more, and I'm always like, I need to do one more, I need to paint every day, I need to do this and that, I need to do and frankly, we are being honest. Sometimes waking up and doing your stuff on the day, it's already a win.
Mhm.
But it's the adrenaline that keeps you moving towards all of these things. And it creates all of these dysmorphias, all of these um excesses, all of these over consuming stuff. everything from social media to buying clothes to partying, drinking, binge eating, not eating at all. All of these things are
Exactly. All the symptoms.
acceleration. Yeah. It's an acceleration that you have to comply with everyone and do everything. And it's frankly difficult.
Very difficult. I even
Yeah.
found myself like caught in all these symptoms after like running in automatic mode, being an athlete, living that life, feeling empty, don't knowing what to do. Instead of stopping and reflecting, I was like caught up in like all the unhealthy symptoms. And then it's very difficult to get out because the brain like starts operating in a way, and to change those like patterns, unhealthy patterns, into healthy, it's like double the work. Even the neurons in
Hard.
the brain, the neurons go back and forth because they know how to like do the unhealthy patterns. They go back and forth. So to be able to start a healthy habit, the neuron has to, instead of going in the highway, it goes in a like little street that is broken, that you gotta pave the road. So that's like triple the work. So it's difficult. But
Of
everything
course.
is practice and repetition.
Exactly. And being committed with something, like, okay, I want to wake up early. Okay, wake up early. Don't skip a day. If you skip a
Exactly.
day, the next day, do it again. You create a habit in 21 days. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that hard. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
much. It's only 21 days. Once you go over the 21 days, it becomes a habit. The
Yes.
thing, well, like, and I'm gonna say I've done that. I want to change everything at the same time. I want to start eating healthier. I want to go to the gym. I want to do my skincare routine every day. I want to drink my celery juice, and I want to start everything now. And I want to be in 1 month doing everything. And frankly, you have to be more patient with yourself and start
Yes.
something at a time. So, okay, first I'll start going to the gym every day. Every day, or maybe not 4 days a week. Then I start doing my celery juice every morning. And you start building the habits. And the good thing is that then you can stack the habits one on the top of the
Yes.
other one. So when I do my celery juice, I remember I have to brush my teeth before, and like, I don't know, like stacking the
Yeah,
habits.
and very important what you said, that we have to set like reasonable, actionable goals, not 10 goals at the same time. Maybe even one goal, and just like meeting that goal in the week. It's a matter. It's like something good to celebrate for.
Totally, because you have to break it down to the smallest piece. Like,
Exactly.
let's say, I sometimes I write down paint a painting in the list. And to paint the painting, I have to get the wood, cut the wood, make the frame, put the canvas on the frame,
Exactly.
prep the canvas, draw the painting, mix the colors, start painting. So when you have this object in your list that is so big,
Go more
it's
specific. That's
go more
what you.
specific. That's something that I learned. And now, if you like, I have this show coming up on November, and here in Buenos Aires, and the list that I have of things to do, it's broken down like literally to reply message to this person. Like,
Exactly. That's
there's
so
so
important.
much meat that you can have on the task. I have it written down, and ticking it brings so
Exactly.
much joy that it's a serotonin boost.
Yes, I love this what you're saying. So my last question for you is, what's your 5 non-negotiable things that you will recommend to the listeners to do in regards to like mental health, body wellness, career wise, from your experience? What are the 5 things that you will mark?
Well, so I would say one of it is be patient with yourself. Be patient and kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're a work in progress, and you'll be a work in progress your whole life. So just be patient with yourself. Then I would say be constant towards what you want. Just be constant and be present, because if you are not present on your constancy, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I would say listen to your heart.
Mhm.
It's
The inner voice. Exactly.
just sit down alone in a bench in the park and hear the birds and hear your breathing. Try to just stop all the other voices that
Hmm.
are around you, just to hear to yourself and be able to see what you feel that it's the best for
Hmm.
yourself. And something that I also think that it's not negotiable at all is sleep.
So important.
Nice sleep. We are so tempted of being staying up and going out and being
Hmm.
here all night. Like I've done it so many times, studio nights of working till 10 a.m. in the morning. Your body is not happy with that.
Start valuing sleep. That's when the body heals. Exactly.
Where the body heals.
Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here and I hope that it helps.
I loved this conversation.
I
Thank
always
you
have to.
so much.
I adore you.
Me too.